Welcome to Job Sharing and Beyond, the Future of Work podcast that goes beyond the traditional 9 to 5. I am Karen Tischler, speaker, consultant, and host of the show, where we hear from global experts every other week to discover innovative solutions and tips on how to remain a relevant employer in the future. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another follow-up episode. My follow-up episodes are LinkedIn Live conversations with previous podcast guests to see what has happened in their area of work since we last talked on the Job Sharing and Beyond podcast. Today's guest was Job Share Connect. Job Share Connect is co-founded by Jessica Charlsen and Jina Hwang Picarella, Ph.D. And immediately today, they showed why it is so advantageous to be co-leading a team or job sharing or top sharing in general. It enables you to approach work in a divide and conquer method. And so today, while Jina was doing other work, I had an opportunity to follow up with Jessica. Jessica shared how, because of the pandemic, organizations are having different challenges than previously, among others, the Great Resignation, and so their business model has evolved accordingly. We talked, besides the previously mentioned advantage of having two people doing the work, about other benefits of being a co-leading team and whether or not or what type of qualities are required to be a good co-leader. I look forward to sharing my audio cast of the LinkedIn Live conversation with you. Hello, Jessica. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for having me back.
You'll notice. It is so nice to have you. Yes?
Oh, I was just going to say, you'll notice I don't have Jina with me today. Unfortunately, we have had a good amount of work come in the last couple of days that she needed to kind of hunker down and work on. But we feel so grateful because this is one of the benefits of top sharing. We can divide and conquer, and I can be here and we can still be here and she can be pushing work forward. So I'm sorry she's not here, but I'm glad I can be.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And I so agree. Like, if you were one person, it would be hard to split yourself. So one of the many benefits of doing job sharing or top sharing.
Completely
and
different.
Now, I also would like to say hello to our listeners and viewers. And if you are watching us live right now and afterwards in the replay, please put any questions you may have for Jessica into the comments. And now, for people who might not know Jessica and Jina and Job Share Connect yet, could you introduce yourself in 5 facts, please?
Sure. We are in Omaha, Nebraska. So if you don't know where that is, we are about smack dab in the middle of America. Personally, Jina and I are both moms. So Jina has twins. I have a 6th grader, 3rd grader, and 1st grader. So we're both pretty busy at work and at home. I have a wonderful husband. We have a wonderful business that we've been growing for about the last 2 years that has made some significant pivots over the last, honestly, 8 months. And 5th one, my kiddos go to school where I went to school when I was growing up. That's a fun fact.
Wow, that is really a fun fact. That's amazing, Jessica. And now, Jessica, as you're talking about, having pivoted since we last talked, and the world has obviously changed, could you maybe give an update what has happened over the last few months?
Yes. So we came into 2021 ready to build our software. We actually got a Nebraska prototype grant. So we had spent the first, year and a half really figuring out our process and what we wanted to build and how we were going to build it. We found our CTO and had traction with our first customers. And as we came into 2021, we were like, okay, before we actually start to build, we need to meet with companies. So we went and revisited a couple dozen companies, some new, across industries and across business sizes, to figure out, are the problems we were solving before COVID the same? And they weren't. They were actually, what we had started to build was a way to recruit and then retain talent. So it was an external talent marketplace, really, where companies could come in and find talent. And we would help match them together into job shares and then place them in roles or retain an existing employee who wanted to scale back. And what we found was companies actually would like to use our software internally. So then they were able to connect people not only for flexibility, but for also for cross training and upskilling. So for people who wanted to maintain a full-time career path, but wanted to learn new areas within the organization, who wanted to try something new, they would be empowered to go seek out those opportunities. And then we would still take them through the matching process and then the transition into their new roles, and then backfill as needed with people who wanted flexibility, or people outside of the organization who potentially had a non-traditional career path, but it was a way to try into a company before going full time. So the talent matrix got a lot bigger. We actually think it's a huge step forward in being able to standardize job sharing, which is what we've been passionate about. We've known if we don't address a problem that businesses are looking to actively solve, we're not going to exist. And today, if you look at the Great Resignation, if you look at the reasons people leave the workforce, it's because of compensation, which companies can only compete so much. It's because of work-life balance, which our software provides a solution to that. It's because they're bored, because they want to learn new things, or because they want more growth opportunities. And our software now can empower employees to go and find those opportunities within the organization and not feel like they have to find them somewhere else.
That sounds really wonderful. And I think also, if you maybe could talk a little bit, often people think about job sharing that it is, let's talk the standard, this is somebody who's trying to handle, a care work at the same time as having a job. But while this is a large percentage of people who might be interested in job sharing, there is a much broader, need for job sharing, and it goes beyond the maybe 60%. It could be many different aspects, and also shorter and longer term assignments within organizations. Could you maybe talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, Karen, I think when you look at today how companies have solved for a lot of the growth and development opportunities, they've really relied heavily, and we've seen a huge boom of online learning, and which is great because it democratizes learning for everyone in the organization. However, classroom learning, online learning, that accounts for about 10% of how adults learn. The 90% that's still out there is working together, actually doing the work in the role that will set you up for success. It's by communication, it's by learning from shared experiences. So by connecting employees together within organizations to learn new things, to learn new roles, they're going to learn more quickly. They're going to be more engaged. You're able to bridge silos and, take knowledge from one department to another, and also try into areas that, without having to take a leap. We're creating bridges so that you're not having to all of a sudden, say, I raised my hand and now my manager's mad at me, and, I'm creating this huge gap while I go try something new. We're creating a bridge so that you're able to try something new while you're able to still backfill into those positions. So it really gives employees an opportunity who are looking for growth in non-traditional ways. What we've said is, we don't want your career to look like a ladder. We think it should look like a jungle gym. And we think that creates more, we know, studies have shown that creates a better value of the employees and what they're bringing to the business, and the employees are more engaged. So this is a solution that doesn't only benefit business, it's giving your employees the engagement and the necessary flexibility to be able to say, here's what I need in my career right now, and find it within an organization, which we're really excited about.
That sounds really, really wonderful. And now, people might be listening to us from, the US and around the world.
Yeah.
So if somebody, within their organization tries to, it might be a smaller organization, tries to start the process of engaging people, that job sharing indeed is something of interest. What would you recommend? What should they do as a first step?
We have found that for it to be successful, leadership has to buy in. So you have to have, this is not something that can be led from the middle. Honestly, it has to be led from the top, because otherwise unfortunately, the environment of business today is a little bit more fear-based than really empowered and transparent. So how can we find and build leaders within companies that say, I want the best for my organization, not just for my team. And that comes from the very top. So as you know, I would say if somebody wanted to look into this from their perspective, it'd be talk to their managers and then figure out how high they can go to gauge interest. Now if you just wanted to start with a job share internally, we do have templates of how to propose a job share that you can download from our website. That's something that, we want everybody to be able to do it, and to be empowered to create, even if it's just a job share for themselves from their organization. Now, to create this kind of transformational change that we're trying to build, we know that we need leadership, like I said, and we also need employees to say, this is a different way of work I want. So we start with a needs assessment with the companies we work with to both get leadership and employee input to really determine where's a good spot to start, because this is kind of like eating the elephant. How do you start small and then continue to grow out very intentionally to make sure that it's not just a 180 turn, because there's a lot going on in the world today.
Yes.
And adding more stress is absolutely not what we want to do. But we do want to create more retention on your employees, and we want them to be part of the process. So we give them the tools, we give them the software to make the connections, and they're then empowered to take those next steps.
That sounds awesome. And now we've talked before that the fact that, you and Jina are a top sharing pair, you can be basically at two different places at the same time. Could you share with our watchers and listeners also some other benefits that you have personally encountered, basically co-leading your organization?
Of course. I mean, I think we start at the beginning of, as we've grown, we share the vision for the organization 500%. There's been many times where we come back together and just say, like, this is hard, but we're in this together and for each other. And so having that friendship and having someone who's going through this with you is I don't think we could do this alone. I know we wouldn't want to, and we couldn't do this alone. As we've grown and as we've identified our goals, we have separated our tasks a bit, because I'm focused really on growth and she's focused really on the clients to make sure that as they're taking through this process, I mean, Gina's an organizational psychologist. Her talent management expertise, I can't copy that. I can speak to it, but her expertise is needed when she's diving in deep with those clients, and I can continue growing the business. So, from a standpoint of being able to do and grow at the same time, I feel tremendously lucky that we have top leadership that can do that. At the same time, life over the last 2 years has hit us both in the gut a couple times. And so, there's been times, when personal stuff has been bigger and you needed to take a couple days and check out, and work continues. Like, clients don't have a lapse. We're able to continue to move forward. So the fact that you can take the time, if you're with your family in a time of loss, or in times of need, you can be there and you can fully engage and not worry and not be checking your phone and have that anxiety of something might get dropped while I'm here. And that can look like a birthday party, and that can look like really great things, and that can look like really sad things. But there's life that happens outside of work, and being able to be fully present and engaged there, and also be able to continue to grow a startup, I would say we're not benefiting from job sharing of like reduced hours. We're benefiting of it from shared grit, tenacity, expertise, and just drive to move forward.
Yeah, it's, like it's so interesting. In a school environment, children are learning teamwork, and universities, MBAs, you have a teamwork, and then all of a sudden, in many organizations, there is still this, I would say, maybe outdated method or thought of who is a leader or what should a leader look like. And so what you just described is co-leadership at its finest, and all the advantages it has to work together.
Well, and I look at it across the board of like, how do you really get to know someone? I mean, Jina and I have talked a lot about diversity. She's got a lot of experience with diversity and inclusion efforts. And for us to, I think, get past a lot of the issues that we're having as a society right now, we have to get back to just connecting with each other and understanding each other's stories. I mean, it gets we really believe we're trying to build something that's way bigger than either one of us, which is why we know that we need everyone who's passionate in this area to be working together, why we want to be partnering with as many people as we can, because we just think that what a job share does is it creates real connections with people. Gina and I are very different in a lot of ways, but we share common values, we share common hopes for the future of our world. And I think as humans, we would find a lot of us do. We're all trying to just make the world a little bit of a better place while we're here. And I mean, our hope and dream is that we're giving people the opportunity to live better lives by connecting with others and have more fulfilling careers that give them a better life, really.
Thank you. And now, for people listening, this is such a positive experience. Some people might wonder, can anybody be part of a top sharing or job sharing team? Or what would you say, are there certain qualities or, experiences that would lead itself better to being part of a team?
Yes, I think one of the biggest pieces that we spent our first year and a half of business doing was really studying the psychology between matching up these pairs. Because although you and I might think we would be a wonderful job share team because we share common values and we have a common vision, our work style might not be the same. And that could create a lot of tension between us. And so we feel like we know that the number one success factor of a job share team is the match. So we spent a lot of time on the matching technology and process that we are taking people through to be able to empower them to go through the steps together. So we combine both assessments, our own, and if needed, we'll use a third party if you're coming into a new role or a new skill. But we have our own assessment that we take through that does go through everything from values, work styles, and ethics to the logistics, because there's also a reality. If you and I both need to be checked out at 3, that's not going to actually help my company. But we have a lot of moms who are professionals who are trying to return to work that would love to work, come in a little later or work a little later. And so it's figuring out what those schedules need to be. It's figuring out what they want. Do they have a growth mindset? Do they have a maintain mindset? Do they have a learning mindset? What are the skills? So there's a lot of logistics that go into it. And what we're trying to do is create the tools and templates that empower the employees to talk through those. A lot of companies will come to us and be like, well, how do you figure out schedules? How do you figure out division of labor? How do you figure out? And what we would say is, your teams can figure that out. They just need the tools and the questions to be able to prompt them. And then as we're going through and working with them, they're able to put together complete proposals that not only have, assessed and identified the combined strengths and value and, unicorn employee that has come together to work together. It's also able to deliver, here's how all of the logistics, because we are really big on transparency and clear expectations. Because we think if those are set, and the goals and the timelines, and those are the pieces of the puzzle that set the team up for success. So I would say you could find a match and you could have a completely successful match on your own. but being able to go through a process, being able to have a common language of how to talk to each other. I mean, I have an extreme sense of urgency that I have learned through some assessments. And so there's plenty of times where I'm like, my sense of urgency is off the charts. Jina, I need you to tell me to calm down right now. I know we need to think about this, but I want to respond. I want to let you know, it's like, I want to move. I think having that common language and being able to say, okay, we're on the same team, we have the same goals, and we have a plan. Our management knows the plan, and we have our check-ins, and then if needed, we have additional coaching that we're able to provide.
That, I think that is so critical. And I know I could talk with you for a long time, but I just wanted to make sure, have we addressed everything that you wanted to talk about? Or are there, other things, events that you would like to share with our listeners and our watchers?
Sure. If you want to learn more, if you're listening right now and you want to learn more about JobShare Connect, we are part of a Forward collective here in Omaha that is connecting startups with corporations across the country. And we are giving a 30-minute presentation on just what we're doing and a little overview of our software. We'd love for you to join us at Forward Work Co. if you want to learn more about what we're doing there and see that event that's coming up this week. Otherwise, go to jobshareconnect.com or please feel free to connect with Jina or I on LinkedIn. We love having conversations and meeting with new people. So it's been an awesome experience. And Karen, you've been along for the ride. So it's really been great to continue to watch your success and growth and leadership and thought leadership and be a part of it. So thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica. And I've also put a little slide in. So for people who, might be watching the replay, they can also, you can stop it and, make sure that, you find the website and your LinkedIn, connections. And well, thank you so much, Jessica, that you came onto the show to share your updates and that I had a chance to follow up and see what has happened. It's been an amazing, story to watch you guys. So, and I look forward to catching up with you again, maybe in a year or so and see what's going to happen.
Yep, would love that. Thank you, Karen.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. I will be sure to put in the show notes links on how to connect with Jessica and Jina at JobShare Connect. If you would like to learn more about the previous Job Sharing and Beyond podcast episodes, please head over to emilyspath.ca. If you would like to support the podcast, please check in the show notes where I have links to coffee and buy me a coffee. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We hope you gained valuable insights and new ideas. To keep listening to future episodes, please head over to iTunes or your favorite player and subscribe and give it a rating. We would very much appreciate a review and for you to share it on social media, so more people can start innovating in how they offer employment. Until the next time, goodbye!